San Francisco Department of Public Health just hired a fat positivity expert. Her name is Virgie Tovar, and she is going to educate the city on weight stigma and weight neutrality. I'm not even sure I know what those things mean, but tell me, as a fat person, how are you discriminated against? What can you not do as a fat person that other people can do? All right, let's hear from this fat expert. And just a warning, I haven't wanted to punch someone in the face this early in the morning in a really long time.
Hi, I'm award-winning fat activist and professional feminist killjoy Virgie Tovar, and I'm here today to talk to you about an epidemic that's affecting women everywhere. It's called if you're like many women, you've been to a birthday party or a small office gathering, an event meant to bring people together. There's swinging tunes, some adult beverages, and good convo. And then it comes time to cut the cake, and someone decides to ruin everything.
Oh my God, that slice is huge. That's like bigger than Beyonce's paycheck. Can you cut me half of that?
A cake-related fat-phobic incident, or C, is that moment when it's time to eat delicious cake and it's interrupted by a moralizing impulse. Inevitably, there's always someone at the party who has to declare publicly that their slice is too large and that the person who's cutting the cake, almost invariably a woman, must do some disproportionate amount of labor in order to accommodate their need to feel superior. Let's take a look.
Can you do a little bit, can you scrape all the frosting off and cut it in half and give me 2 forks, because I'm sharing.
Small, like a little bit more, like tiny, no, like less than what you're smaller, please.
Could you cut my piece into equal, symmetrical little pieces and put each one into a tiny little Tupperware so that I can have a bite for each month of 20 eggs?
Smaller.
Let's take a step back and view what's happening through a critical feminist lens. Eyes typically happen in environments where there are primarily or exclusively women. Women are disproportionately negatively affected by diet culture because diet culture maps onto sexism. Like many parts of diet culture, there is a significant performance component. You have to show others that you are being good. Controlling how much you eat is part of what it means to be a, quote, good woman. This kind of behavior is a way for people to keep other people in check through food moralizing, surveillance, and policing. These are the mechanisms that are at the core of diet culture and weight control. The idea that you can position yourself as superior to others through self-control and self-denial is super. Eyes have a history of creating a hierarchy among women and ultimately in maintaining misogynist expectations. Watch how this woman demonstrates a different way to engage with cake.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Practice just taking the cake slice you're given, or simply saying no thanks. Don't make other people be your cake nanny, because women already have too much on their plate. With a sexist culture, navigating underwhelming romantic options, and an absurdly inexplicable pay gap. So remember, the next time that you're on the verge of committing a SI, be an ally to women rather than an accomplice to patriarchy. Because, after all, patriarchy doesn't give a fuck about you, girl.
It's so rich.
It's so rich.
It's so rich.
It's so rich.
Ooh, it's so rich.
It's so rich.
Virgie Tovar, I declare that you are a food bully. Yeah, a food bully. You probably are in this situation now because you were food bullied your entire life. People making comments about your body and the food that you were eating. I get it. I don't think it's great. And that's how you got on your fat positivity crusade, because you didn't know how else to handle the fact that you couldn't lose weight and fit in to what society was telling you to fit into. That is a problem. I acknowledge that. But now you've gone all the way on the other side. You're bullying people for the food choices that they're making. You're bullying people for deciding that they want to take care of this body that they have because they want it to work better. They want to feel better. You're bullying. If someone who's fat wants to lose weight because they're having trouble walking, because they're on so many medications, they're sick of it, they're tired all the time, their periods are awful, who are you to keep them down? You're criticizing women here for declaring publicly that they don't want a big slice of cake. If you want to declare publicly that you want a giant piece of cake and you want a sugar bomb, go for it. That's up to you. But I also think that you're trying to stand on a moral high ground, that you don't give a rip, that you can do what you want. Yeah, you can, but at what cost? The Department of Public Health hired you. I want to see a copy of your med list because I think we need to see both sides of it. You're saying that there's zero consequences for not taking care of your body, and that's not true. There's lots of consequences for that. Eventually, your body is going to break down. My biggest problem with this whole message is the self-control piece. She's preaching that self-control is a problem, but with the lack of self-control, we get complete chaos. Here's another side note. If being fat was so awesome, then why is the weight loss medication market a $1 billion industry set to potentially become a $1 trillion industry? I don't know. Maybe Virgie Tovar is working for Big Pharma. Create the problem, create the solution, create lifelong customers. What do you say about that, Virgie? Oprah was the original advocate for fat positivity, but she just did a huge special on weight loss medications. So just to wrap up, Virgie, you're a food bully. What do you guys think? Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you want more unfiltered content about all things health and wellness.